Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga with Pat. Today we're painting the throat chakra. So first things first, we want to start pouring our paint. Today I'm using phthalo blue, phthalo green, and white. So we'll pull that one out too. And then I've got two stencils today. So I've got my bowl, the bowl that we've been using for all of our chakra paintings. So this is our steady, our handy dandy bowl, and then we've got a smaller circle. So this one is going to go right inside of our triangle. So if you have like a smaller glass, really, maybe like a sauce bottle, or you can always just freehand that circle there because you have the triangle. So either way. And then we're going to start pouring our paint. So I'm going to pour my blue, pour my green, and we're just going to get started. Oh, we're going to need some white too. Pour the white. And let's go. So first things first is we're going to cover our background, and just like always, we're going to do a little yoga in the middle while we wait for our painting to dry. So just like our heart chakra, we're using our Pthalo family today, and we know from our previous painting that it has great coverage. So I'm going to go into my blue first, and I'm just going to start around the edges of my painting. So already starting to speak to that circular motion in our throat chakra, or in all of our chakras. We've got that same theme going, where these are wheels, they're energy wheels. So we want to make our paint strokes feel that way, super energetic. So next, once we've covered the whole thing, and remember this paint, or the whole edges, this paint really gets in there, really covers it. Just gonna go around in a circle. Make sure you don't have any chunkies. I'm using my biggest brush for this. My scratchy brush. So we always like to use our big brush for a beginning. And then what I'm going to do here is I want to start to add sort of a turquoise vibe. So this is, our throat chakra is a bright blue. One of the stones that apply to our throat chakra is turquoise. So turquoise is a great stone to balance your throat chakra. So we're going to make this turquoise. So I'm just going to dip my brush into the green, and I'm going to go around the edge of my blue and start to put that green in there. So I'm going to have like kind of a green center almost. And it looks more teal now, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do to make that turquoise. So as I'm working that green around, I'm also working back into the blue and kind of bringing the blue back into the green, keeping that circular motion going and filling that space as best I can. So if you run out of paint by the time you get to the middle, that's okay, because I'm going to take the same brush, and I'm not washing it in between colors here. I'm just going to dip it into the white as is, right into my white paint. And then I'm going to go from the center again, and I'm going back and forth, maybe making like X's, big broad brush strokes. And I'm going to start to move those brush strokes out from the center towards the edges of my canvas. I'm just going back and forth, kind of still making circles. And we're working quickly because We don't want the paint to dry. That's how we're getting that blending going. All right. So that's looking pretty throat chakra-y to me. So now that we have that cool turquoise center, it's kind of exploding into the darker blue. Before we take our yoga break, we want to paint those edges. So let's go ahead and get some of our blue paint. And again, we don't have to clean our brush off for any of this. We're just going for it. All of that mixing is happening right on our canvas. And we're getting those nice edges so that we can just hang these all up on our wall together and we don't have to worry about getting a frame. It'll look nice and neat going on the wall once it's dry. So here we go. Awesome paint. I might have to reload. I just love these phthalos. They just really cover instantaneously. I can be like the phthalo spokesperson, if there's such a thing. All right. Perfect. Already looks throat chakra-y. All right, so now we're gonna move over to the mat for our yoga break, and we're gonna do a series of poses here. So I wanna do a little bit of a seated flow, and then I've got a little surprise for you at the end. So meet me at your mat. Okay, so we're gonna find ourselves at our mat. I like to sit on a pillow and a blanket to make myself comfortable. And I'm going to sit in Sukhasana, but of course you can do all of these movements that I'm going to do in a chair. So if you prefer to sit in a chair, go ahead and find yourself sitting a little bit forward on the chair so that your feet are grounded on the floor. So you don't want to be leaning back onto the chair. You want to find maybe the edge of the chair and make sure both feet are firmly planted on the ground. And then we can bring our hands to our knees as we find a little bit of grounding through our seat. Maybe tilting your pelvis forward, sending your shoulders back, and close together, like slightly together. They don't have to be touching, but back and slightly together. And then the shoulder blades go down the back. And here we find a nice tall seat. From here, we're going to warm up our body in preparation for a couple of neck stretches. And I want to talk a little bit about these neck stretches. So, as we find ourselves in the time of Corona and really in, our Western lifestyle, we might find ourselves more time in front of the computer if we're working from home, or more time doing crafts or sedentary things. So our neck tends to be forward and our shoulders in. This creates short SCM muscles. They're these neck muscles that go down the neck, and they can kind of tend to be a little bit overworked as they work to hold our head up. So we're going to give those neck muscles a nice stretch since we're painting the throat chakra today. So first, since the element of the throat chakra is space or ether, which is the stuff or the lack of stuff, the space in between all the stuff. So mass, matter, molecules, particles, the space that is in between that, or the vibrations, if you will. The throat chakra is sound. The throat chakra is communication. The throat chakra is about confidence as well, and creativity. Creativity in forms of music or poetry, the performing arts. So that's the throat chakra. A little bit different creativity from our sacral chakra, like we talked about before. So with all of that being said, let's get started with the yoga. So we're going to bring our shoulders again down the back and slightly together. And let's just ground here, maybe lowering your gaze or closing your eyes. And we're going to take a couple of deep breaths in here. In through the nose, maybe filling the belly and the ribs. And then slowly out through the nose, exiting the belly, contracting the ribs. One more time on your own. In through the belly or in through the nose, filling the belly, the ribs. And then slowly out through the nose, emptying the belly, contracting the ribs. We're going to add some hand movements to warm up our body. So bring your hands to heart center and press your thumbs up against your sternum. And then on your next inhale, raise your arms overhead. Keep the shoulders down as you reach up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale, bring your hands back up. And exhale, bring them back to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Inhale, hands back up overhead. Exhale, hands down to heart center. Let's introduce a twist into this. So we're going to inhale to sit up tall. Exhale, turn to the right. And then bring your left hand on your right knee and your right hand behind you to help you sit up. And if you're in a chair, you can bring your hand around onto the chair back. So we're going to inhale to sit up tall and exhales, twist us further to the right. Not cranking, just encouraging. And here, because we're going to be stretching the neck, I invite you to turn your head as well. Not cranking with the head, but I invite you to turn as you twist. Turning to the right, maybe trying to look behind you. And then on your next exhale, come back around. We're going to inhale again to sit up tall. Exhale, let's take that twist to the other side. So just take your hands, right hand finds your left leg, and your left hand helps you sit up tall. And then on your inhales, you'll sit up tall. Your exhales will twist you. And again, you can take this stretch to the neck as well. And maybe turn to look over your shoulder as you inhale and exhale to twist a little deeper. Now let's bring this back to center. We're going to bring our hands to heart center again and inhale, raise your hands up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Leave your hands at the mat here and bring your right hand up. Your arm is by your ear. And then walk your left hand out. And when it's nice and far out, you can start to bend your arm as you stretch the side. Keeping your right hip grounded as you feel a stretch in the side of the body. Maybe on your next inhale, turning the heart up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bending further. Now we'll come back up and we'll take that stretch to the other side. Inhale your left arm up by your ear. Exhale, walk that right hand out, bend that elbow, and keep that left hip grounded as you stretch that left side. And then turn your heart up towards the ceiling. And breathing, feeling that stretch all along the ribs. We'll inhale to come back up. And then from here, let's go ahead and do a little forward fold. So bring your hands in front of you and start to walk your hands forward. If you're in a chair, you can just lay over your thighs. I'm just walking my hands out, making sure to keep my hips grounded, folding from my hips forward. And then when you feel a little stretch on your outer hips, you can start to relax the head. And just breathe here, feeling an opening through the shoulders, breathing into the ribs. On your next inhale, come back up. And we're gonna bring our hands to heart center. So take your left hand, put it on your chest. Take your right hand, put it right on top of that hand. And then we're gonna look up at the ceiling, and then you're gonna start to send your head back. Feeling a stretch all along the front of your neck. Try to bring your shoulders down as you stretch the front of your neck. From here, bring your head back up. And we're going to take our right hand and we're going to put it on the left side of our head. And then gently just encourage your head to come down towards the shoulder as you feel a nice stretch going down the side of the neck. Come back up. Let's take that to the other side. I'm going to bring my hand around the side of my head and then stretch the right side of my neck. From here, come back up gently. And then one more time, let's stretch the front of our neck by bringing our shoulders down. Oh, and putting our hands on top of our chest and then sending the head back. So this is just a stretch for the neck. So we're not sending our back back. We're just sending our head back, letting it rest right on top of those shoulder muscles. So if you're not feeling a whole lot of a stretch here, which I am, you can also take your jaw and move it forward, giving yourself an overbite. And then you can really feel the stretch there. Let's come back up. And then one more thing for the throat chakra. So I talked about how the throat chakra was all about confidence and like self-expression. So we're gonna do a little bit of that. We find ourselves these days talking a lot in front of a camera, and it might seem a little foreign to a lot of us. I know it did at first for me, and it's still kind of weird. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little thing called lion's breath. So I'm gonna do it first so you can see what it looks like, but I wanna remind you that I can't see you. So this is a great time for you to practice this. So we're gonna take a deep breath in through our nose, and then on the exhale, we're gonna say, sticking out our tongue and looking at our nose, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, that was weird, right? Now you have to do it with me. Okay, so on the count of 3, we're gonna take a deep breath in, fill your lungs, and on the exhale, we're gonna stick our tongue out and just say at the camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. That was fun. It's okay to laugh. All right, So I think we took a little longer than usual here with our flow, but that's okay. Our painting's gonna be super dry, so let's go check that out. Okay, so we're back. Looks pretty dry. So we're gonna go ahead and throw on our stencil and start to get that chakra in there. So first thing we wanna do is we wanna find our pointy brush. And I'm just gonna wet it a little bit to get that point back in my water cup. And then I'm gonna go into my white paint and kind of roll the brush around in there, get that point back. Find my handy dandy bowl. And just like before, we're gonna find the center. So our hand is going all the way around, making sure that that bowl is nice and even. All right, looks good. So I'm gonna take my white paint, my pointy brush, and just start to trace that bowl all the way around. And we talked about the petals in the previous one. Our petals for this chakra are 16. So we have 16 petals. It sounds like a lot of petals, but remember what a hard time I was having with the petals in the previous chakras? Well, this one is even numbers. So they're all even, but 4 on each quadrant of our circle. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to organize that. So I got my circle on there. And now I'm going to find the top of my circle in the center, put a little mark there. And if you have a straight edge and you're feeling like a perfectionist, you can always use your straight edge and line up that center. And then we're going to go across our circle. Yeah, so now we have 4 corners. So if this was a pizza, we'd have 4 slices. We need more slices. So we're gonna go across diagonally in between these 2 sides. So I'm going diagonal up to the right or up to the left. Finding the center in between there. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right. And then from there, we can start our work. So now finding the center in between this first top quadrant. We'll bring this closer. So now I found the center in between this first top quadrant. I'm going to do my first 2 petals. So maybe my petals, we'll say that they're 3 fingers long. And I'm going to go down from this dot here and then boop out like a C. And I'm going to try my best to mirror that shape on the other side. And there we go. We've got our first petal. So I'm going up and out, making a little point, mirroring that mark I made best I can. And just to show you that each one of these is 4, we're going to do it again right in this little quadrant next to it. So finding the center in between these 2 points, making a C, and then coming out, and then back around. So we've got like long little Hershey's kisses, if you will. Here we go. So 4. And now in each one of these little quadrants, we're going to put 4 more. So in here, in this little section, we're going to put 2 petals. In this little section, we're going to put 2 petals, and same goes all the way around. So let's go ahead and do that. 4. Just double checking as we go around. And again, we're not computers, so some of them might be uneven. But like I said, the more petals, the better. And you can always come around and fix them when we add our movement. With our other colors, we're going to add more turquoise to this. And there we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, all right, all around. 16 petals. Okay, so now for the middle, we want to put our triangle in there. So we're going to get our straight edge and we're going to find where our points are here. So we know our bottom point is right here in between these two petals, right at the bottom. So that's our center. And then at the top, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, perfect. So from the top center, we're going to go 3 down. And then top center, 3 down. Now I'm going to find my straight edge and I'm going to meet those 2 points and connect the dots. And there's the top. And now we just have to connect those 2 corners to the bottom center dot. And there we go. We have our triangle. Now we just need to put the circle in there. So like I said before, you can always find a little stencil that'll fit right in the center, or you can just wing it, because we're going to come back around with some blue. We're going to come back around with some turquoise. So there's plenty of time to fix this. So we're just going to do, I'm going to do like a little frowny face on these top 2 corners, starting from the center of my triangle. 1 frown, or a C, another one. Yes. And then I'm going to connect the 2 with a smiley face. Smiles. And there we are. Throat chakra. Now we just have to decorate it. So the Vishuddha chakra. Communication. Not only just speaking to each other, right? But how, and you can think of it like this, how our communication even nowadays tends to span space and time. Like right now, we don't have to be in the same room to be painting together, or even painting at the same time to be communicating and exchanging. I'm teaching you a painting and you can communicate with me by dropping a comment, and then I'll see it and I'll be able to respond. Woo. Way to throw in a plug. But it's true. I mean, the internet is all throat chakra, I think. You know, we're sharing ideas and communicating things to each other, teaching, learning, all kinds of things happening. And these things transcend space and time. Like we can watch a video right now from like 2007, right? How old is YouTube? I don't know. But we could go back and watch a really old video, and that's like spanning space. So that's a way to think of how the throat chakra is not only sound and vibration, but it's also the space in between the stuff. And that's super expansive. So I took that turquoise that I made before. Sorry, I got really excited. So I took that turquoise that I made before, and I'm gonna show you how to make it again. So that's my turquoise color. We've got some green, we've got some blue. We're gonna mix those together, and that makes like a teal. So about equal parts. And that in itself is just really gorgeous. But then to make the turquoise, we're gonna take a scoop of that white and throw it right in there and mix it around. And now you see we've got like 2 shades of teal. And you can make this darker or lighter. You can cater it to your taste. But that's what's gonna give our chakra all these cool, like energetic colors. So now I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna paint over whatever it is I did there. And then I'm gonna take my brush and I'm just gonna go along the edge of my circle here. Just cleaning up anything that got away from me. And you can really take this all the way around. So over here, I think I got a little excited with those petals. So I'm just gonna cut back on them a little bit. Just using the edge of my brush. And you can use the thin side or the broad side, no rules here. We're just making marks. And this also takes our painting a little bit out of the graphic territory. Looks less like a symbol and more like a painting. I'm just going to take this all around so there's continuity. These lotuses, if you will, they're also mandalas. So we want to do everything that we do on one side, we want to do on the other side. I guess there's no sides in circles, but all around. Same thing all around. All right. And then here, like I talked about those shades, you can add a little bit more blue to maybe a corner of your turquoise to make a different shade of blue. And then you can take that around. And I'm making like little V's on top of my petals. Just to add some movement. Now you can get turquoise in the bottle, but I was seeing, I did get some because I thought about using it, but it's just so transparent. So I used it in this painting, but I really ended up fighting it a lot. So I really prefer to just mix it. And now I'm gonna take some of this blue that I mixed. I'm gonna bring it into my circle. Just doing a couple of strokes following that circular motion. Making sure I don't mess up my triangle. And then maybe bringing some strokes into the triangle itself. And I don't know, you can like really just go wild with this. This chakra is big movement, so we want to show a lot of energy. This is also the last chakra that's assigned an element, because the other chakras are more about consciousness. So this chakra is sort of entering consciousness, but still kind of, it's not mass, it's barely an element, it's the space in between elements. So now we're crossing that bridge. Of course, I like to think of these things in a little bit more of an approachable manner. So if we're talking about the throat chakra, like maybe we're talking about an idea being expressed, right? Like you are hit with inspiration at the crown chakra, which is like around the top of the head, right? It's like now space like entering, or union entering like your being, right? And then you've got your third eye chakra, which is you knowing it. So it's like the idea just kind of comes to you out of the blue, right? And then you're like, oh, I know that idea. I'm thinking about that idea right now. And then you talk about the idea. So that's how I like to think of it, rather than trying to get like, I mean, you can, right? We can sit in meditation and we can get all big thoughts about it, but put in simple terms. That's the way that I'm approaching thinking about it. That's the way that when it's explained to me, I like the most, because I can understand, because I can relate. Let me know in the comments what you think. So just continuing to mix my blue and my green in different ratios. I'm just taking some of that movement around. Just adding some interest to my painting. And then from here, if you would like to add an outline, again, our phthalos are so nice and dark and opaque. We can just use that phthalo blue to outline our chakras. So I'm just going to start to outline my petals with just the blue itself, all alone, just the dark blue. And if you ran out, if you used it all, pour yourself some more. I'm gonna go around my triangle, maybe just like frame the whole thing. And remember, this is a painting. You can drive yourself nuts trying to make these lines perfect. But it looks good. I mean, if the lines go quickly and deliberately, it actually really all comes together. And really, we can keep going on forever, but we have 2 more chakras to get to. So I'm just going to finish these outlines. And if you're liking these, if you have any suggestions for any future paintings, please comment below. Please let me know. Give this video a like. If you want to see more paintings, subscribe to my channel. All the interaction really helps me out a lot and helps me be able to like keep doing this, knowing that you want to do it, knowing that you want to paint with me. I will keep making this content because it makes me happy. All right, I am pretty happy with that. So that is the throat chakra, you guys. Our next one, our Vishuddha chakra. Our next one is going to be our third eye chakra. So please join me next Friday. This Friday, big faux pas, messed up the camera and YouTube froze on me as I tried to fix it. So next one will be live and I'll remember not to make the same mistake again. Okay. Oh, before I forget, also check out, I'm going to try to drop a link right here. I'm going to drop a link right here. So if you haven't started these paintings yet, check out the root chakra, okay? Click that link, paint the root chakra, and then find the sacral chakra. There's a whole playlist going. So, root chakra, first up. All right, I'll see you for the third eye. Bye.